So, the Westboro Baptist Church is back in the news, and they just can't seem to stay out of it. The Westboro Baptist Church and the ministry of Fred Phelps is always been of interest to me because I am from Topeka. I went to school there and saw the Phelpses on an occasional basis just in my everyday life. So it wasn't until after I left Topeka, really until I was out of college and enlisted in the military, that the Phelpses really upped their game and got to the point where they were regularly featured by major media outlets. Of course, the reason why, how they got to that level of national and international acclaim was by changing their targets. They had always gone after homosexuals, Catholics, really just anyone that didn't really agree with them. It was kind of a stroke of brilliance to protest the funerals of soldiers. But keep in mind, before that, they had been protesting funerals. They'd been protesting the funerals of people who died of AIDS. Now, the purpose of this video is to highlight the fact that the Phelpses, they didn't just come out of nowhere. They metastasized in society. They festered for a long time under the sufferance of our society. Now, I value free speech. I don't particularly advocate for censorship of the Phelpses, but I find it quite odd, quite startling that people who might have reasonably argued for giving the Phelps leeway, hate them but leave them alone. Their free speech is a right that has to be protected. Before these people came to their town, protested their family members, insulted their traditions. When I was in the military, and the Phelpses were often on the news, and the headlines were about all that we had to talk about on the night shift, people would come up to me and raise the subject. And in terms of what my thoughts on the Phelps family were, I always had to tell them, look, I grew up around this kind of stuff, and I remember when nobody gave a shit. Back when they were just picking on minorities, nobody gave a shit. They were just as hateful back then. They were just as insulting. But back then, nobody gave a shit. And the minorities, particularly, I'll say here, the Catholics, the homosexuals, they just endured. Yeah, they got angry. Listening to the Phelpses talk about it, you'd think that they were under constant assault, that they had to buy bodyguards, guard dogs, and put up electric fences around their compound, that any day now an angry mob might storm in and burn the place down. Well, that never really has been the case, because the other group of people that they have spent so long picking on just endured. So, the good news is, wherever the Phelpses go, they run into counter-protests, and that's the way to do it. I have really been encouraged by groups like the Freedom Riders, who just drown it all out. There are discussions that can be had about at what point that crosses the line into censorship, but it's exercise of free speech. When you get to the point where you are assaulting people, where you are arresting or detaining people under false pretenses, under charges that don't exist, at that point you really need to take a step back and look at how were people reacting to them. How were their targets reacting to the Westboro Baptist Church back when no one gave a shit? Back when major news outlets wouldn't take their back? How did those people respond? If they endured better, we are currently enduring their hateful words. Does that make those people, particularly the homosexuals, does it make them better Christians? It's worth thinking about. I'm Friendo.